found some of the slapstick enjoyable, and I liked that you could recognize some of the original poses from the comics. Yeah, I really didn't hate this movie. I thought it had a very basic plot. It was a little bit shallow, but hey, baby Garfield was cute, and the cow did have some funny scenes. I thought Garfield getting his life settled in with John was kind of cute. I liked the scene as well where Garfield tucked John into bed as well. That was cute. Overall, this is just one of those movies that I shouldn't have paid to go see in theaters, and I should have just waited for it to come out on a streaming platform. But nonetheless, I gleaned some enjoyment from it. But it didn't quite feel like Garfield. It almost did, but not quite. It just didn't reach that mark. I grew up on Garfield. I watched all the Garfield movies, and when I was a little kid, I read all the Garfield comic strips, and I even stole a big volume of the Garfield comic strips out of my school library to read over summer vacation. I did return it, don't worry. I also loved the Garfield show when I was a kid. And issue one that I had with this movie that I think a lot of people had with it was Chris Pratt just wasn't Garfield. In my mind, Bill Murray is Garfield. Frank Welker is Garfield. Chris Pratt just did not emulate that fat, lazy cat vibe. But I will say though, he did do a good job with Mario in the Mario movie that was released last year. I think that was an okay performance. It was good. But where my issue arises with this movie is bringing Garfield's apparent daddy issues into this.
This is big. My father. Look, Junior.
I would have liked this movie a lot more if it did something more original with the plot that was more authentic to Garfield. Because the thing is, you can take this kind of robbing, heist, daddy issues kind of plot and apply it to any other character or an original character, and it would have been a perfectly fine movie, but it just, this wasn't Garfield. And just seeing Garfield so wound up over his daddy issues was just kind of weird, and it wasn't Garfield energy. I think it would have been fun to see his mom and see them bring in something from the old 2D animated show. And overall, I think we just need more Garfield original characters like Liz, Arlene, and Nermal. Also, is that Chantal Dubois? Also, another thing about this movie was just the sheer amount of product placement. They got Olive Garden, Bumble, Tinder, Netflix, FedEx, Walmart, and Pop Chips. I didn't even know Pop Chips was a thing. But despite most of that, I found these flaws forgivable. The villain was shallow. I didn't care about her or Garfield's dad at all. And the humor did land flat, but some of it was funny. The two henchmen dogs I found pretty funny, like when the bulldog would grab Garfield's head and the skin would just like pool onto Garfield's head. That was funny. I liked when they used him as a parachute. I also found that pretty funny. All in all, I really just don't have much to say about this movie just because it was very average. It made me giggle, so it wasn't terrible, but it also didn't wow me. It was very average, it was very safe, it was very friendly, it was very Illumination Studios. I walked out of the movie theater just going, yep, that was a movie. And a part of me also wondered, why isn't this Garfield enough? Like, it has the orange cat, it has Odie, it has John Arbuckle sometimes, but it just didn't feel Garfield enough. And no, it's not Chris Pratt. In my honest opinion, I just don't think that they captured Garfield well enough. Garfield is an unbothered, lazy cat that doesn't do anything. He's only bothered if it involves food or his general safety. And they got two of those right, but then they threw in Garfield's daddy issues, which wasn't a thing prior to this movie, and it just threw off the whole vibe of Garfield because he was just pissy for the whole time. Because Garfield's not a pissy cat. He's lazy and gets mildly irritated sometimes, but he's not pissy. Not to mention it didn't include any of the original characters and just threw in some new ones that I only half cared about. Even though, once again I will say, some of the cow scenes did make me giggle. But overall I would have preferred to see Arlene or Nermal. But this movie is for parents to sit their kids down in front of for an hour so they can go get dinner ready without having to deal with them. So that's what we're working with. Honestly, in my opinion, I think the strongest part of this movie was John Arbuckle. I think we could have used a lot more screen time of him. We needed some John and Liz scenes. I wanted to see them go on a date together. Come on. Okay, that's it from me. I know this was really short, but I did just want to come on here and speak my mind about the Garfield movie since I see a lot of people rat on it. But I will say, something good that this movie did do was bring Garfield back onto my For You page with a lot of older original Garfield content. So thank you, the Garfield movie, for that. And thank you guys for watching. Maybe like, maybe subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just throwing it out there, you know. If you like these short style rants, give me some feedback on it. Maybe it's too short, maybe it's not. I don't know. But goodbye.